We Fit Wellness, Breaking Blind, underwritten by the Colorado Center for the Blind, Push Beverages, and the United States Association of Blind Athletes.
Hey everybody, today we are going to make some healthy pumpkin bread. So this recipe is actually Starbucks pumpkin bread recipe that my mom sent me. She found it on Pinterest and she sent it to me. So we are going to make it today.
Teaspoon baking soda. System October 24. 1 half cup of flour. 1 tablespoon pumpkin pie spice. Half a teaspoon of salt. Half teaspoon baking soda. A teaspoon baking powder. 1.5 cups of sugar. Half cup of loaf. 5 vanilla yogurt. 3 egg whites. 1 cup canned pumpkin preheat. Oven to 350 degrees. Combine dry ingredients and send salt. Mix together yogurt, sugar, and egg whites. Whisk together well. Then add in the pumpkin and mix. Add in the dry and mix until moisten. Bake for 60 minutes in a loaf and run until melted so it comes out clean. Text view.
Okay. So I think I'll remember it all. The other thing that I always do in Colorado is I add an extra half a teaspoon of baking powder because things have a hard time rising here. So often when I make my quick breads, like pumpkin bread or zucchini bread and things like that, they sink in the middle. So I'm going to try adding the half teaspoon of baking powder like I usually do, and hopefully it won't sink. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get 3 egg whites together. So I'm separating my eggs right now, so I think a really easy way to do this is to do it in my hand. So I crack the egg in my hand and I just hold it over this bowl and let the white run through my fingers. The yolk will sit on top of my fingers. You could also use like a slotted spoon if you wanted to. But I think this is the easiest way for me. I've already done 2, so we're just on the 3rd one here. Shake. Check, make sure I have my yolk in there, which I do. I always slide underneath my hand. And alright, so we put our egg whites in here, and now I am adding in a half a cup of vanilla, low-fat Greek yogurt. So we're going to use xylitol today, which is a natural sweetener. So you probably have heard of things like Splenda and even stevia, which I think stevia is so nasty. I think it has the worst aftertaste ever. So the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of sugar, so we're going to use 2 cups of the xylitol, just because I found that with the xylitol it's not quite as sweet and you need a little extra. In 1 second after I finish measuring the last of the xylitol in here, Kevin, I am going to have you read to all of our viewers what exactly xylitol is.
Ingredients: 100% pure xylitol. So what is xylitol? Xylitol is a natural sweetener derived from the fibrous parts of plants, similar to the taste of regular sugar, but with a significant difference. Xylitol has a low glycemic index and is low in calories.
So, we've heard about the benefits of xylitol. Now I'd like to tell you the not so great thing about xylitol is that that little bag was about $8. So I'm going to mix this stuff together. Start it off low, let it go. We're going to add in a tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. And we have this local spice shop. We should do a little tour of that for you guys one day. It's such a great little shop. They're so awesome there. They always let me bring my students in. So now, you know, the recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, but we're going to go with a teaspoon of it here. So unless you're, you know, if you're not in high altitude, do your 1/2 teaspoon. So we're going to add that in. Then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I always use Himalayan salt because it has lots of good healthy minerals in it. So we're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of Himalayan salt. Alright, we're adding in a 1.5 cups of flour now. And I'm using King Arthur's unbleached flour. That's the best flour, I say. So now we have put our pumpkin batter into a loaf pan that I've greased with coconut oil. And I always just take a paper towel and just go around the outside. Make sure it's nice and level in there. And then this has to bake at 350 for 60 minutes. So we already have our oven preheated. But a little tip I'm gonna tell you to do, no matter what, if the recipe doesn't tell you to do it, still do this. Cover your bread with a piece of aluminum foil, kind of like tent it up a little bit for the first 30 minutes. Then remove the foil, because what happens is the outside of the bread tends to cook quicker and the outside gets all dry and hard before the inside will cook all the way through. And so this is gonna maximize the moistest bread possible. All right, everybody, 1 hour is up. So you may have noticed I'm in different clothing because I had a full hour, so I went downstairs and did a quick workout. So I'm gonna check, I just pulled the bread out. And it definitely feels done on top. I'm gonna put a knife down in the middle, make sure it comes out nice and clean. And it's clean. Okay, here's the bread, guys, out of the pan. And we're gonna slice it. It looks really, really good. I love it. Mm-hmm. It is a little spongy, huh?
Definitely.
Mom was saying it's like a spongier kind of cake.
Yep, it's real spongy.
It's sweet enough, right?
Yeah, I was surprised. It's very good.
No aftertaste from the xylitol.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just a good recipe. This is a keeper.
Don't forget to subscribe to Breaking Blind on YouTube. Visit our website, wefitwellness.com. Like us on Facebook, We Fit Wellness, and follow us on Twitter at We Fit Wellness.